Oh, hi there! I was just editing one of my episodes here. I'm Dylan James Weaver, but you can call me Dylan, and this is the podcast. Hey, let's see how this thing sounds. Oh, whoa, hold in! Okay, so it needs a little more work, but that's the exciting part, because you never know what you'll discover along the way. Oh, don't take my word for it, though. You can find out yourself when you come along on today's episode of the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. Welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
I'm Andrew Sabo.
And we are here today to talk about our first episode of the Blackguard Chronicles. Episode 73 of Adventures in Odyssey, A Bite of Applesauce.
Ah! You spoke it into being. It's a thing now that we're doing.
It's happening, guys.
I'm so happy and so excited. Listening to this episode was great. I got my coffee. It's a Saturday morning. Let's just jump right into it.
Yeah. So this is an episode written and directed by Paul McCusker. It first aired May 20th of 1989.
Boy, the year of Taylor Swift's birth, right?
Yes, the year of Taylor Swift's birth.
And best album.
That's not the year for best album,
but name of her best album. Yeah.
So it's album, or it's episode 4 from album 5, Daring Deeds and Sinister Schemes.
Oh, what a good album. Oh, this is classic.
Mm-hmm.
This is golden age Odyssey. This is like, if Novacom is the Renaissance, this is Rome. Yeah, this is Rome. This is Rome.
A couple notes for this, because as I was going to listen to the episode and take notes and all that stuff, I went through 3 different versions of this episode.
What?
Because I have the radio rip of the episode.
Yeah.
I have the cassette version of the episode, and I also have the AIO Club.
And they're all different?
They all have different intros.
What?
Yep. So for the duration of this series, and probably everything else, just so everyone knows, we are going off the AIO Club versions, specifically from the Blackguard Chronicle album. Mm-hmm. So the 30 episodes that are in that collection on the AIO Club are the versions we'll be talking about. So if we're not talking about the crazy, weird Chris intro on this episode, that's why.
That's right! I remember that.
Yeah. So that's something that, like, just to keep in mind, and that I had to kind of duke it out with myself to be like, I guess like this is just gonna be like, I gotta find one lane and stick in it. And it makes sense to do the Blackguard Chronicles on the AIO Club.
Because if anybody listens to this podcast, they probably have the AIO Club.
Right, and it's the versions that are most readily available. Mm-hmm. And they're the ones that are the most stripped down.
Yeah.
So, worst case scenario, people listening have heard more than we talk about. But we will not be talking about more than what they have heard.
Exactly.
Which I think is kind of the
safest way.
Right. So that, just getting that out of the way, that's what we're doing.
That's important.
For
this is a 30-episode saga. This is longer than Novacom, so
yeah. We did Novacom Aftermath that ended up being longer.
That's true. But that was just us.
Yeah.
That was just for the love of the game. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah. And eventually the hatred of the game.
The eventual, just despising the game.
Frustration of the game.
Crying over the game.
Which, so we're, we've got a classic Odyssey cast here. Mm-hmm. Now that we're going into a long saga again, we'll do voice cast recaps, that sort of thing, to establish a little bit of continuity. But we've got our Housemmith Wit, Will Ryan as Eugene, Katie Lee as Connie. We've got Azure Janowski as or Azure Janowski as Donna. I don't know.
Donna.
The voice of Donna is Donna. And Joan Gerber is voicing Mabel, the computer. Joan Gerber
also owns the baby food company.
No. Notable for being Mrs. Beakley in DuckTales.
Really? Yep. I've never seen DuckTales.
Well, now if you do,
now I know.
That's
Mabel. That's the artificial intelligence.
With the computer. Missed opportunity to call her Howie.
That would have been good.
But yeah. So yeah, especially when we're talking about like early Odyssey, a lot of these people aren't going to have real resumes like they will when we talk about like current Odyssey or like 2000s Odyssey.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of just like people that they knew, and like a lot of the kids are played by not just kids but like
normal kids
that aren't actors.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
All right. I think that's kind of our housekeeping off the top, and then you want me to roll the promo?
More than anything in the world.
Coming up on Adventures in Odyssey, Eugene and Connie suffer the consequences of their curiosity when Wit installs a new and very secret computer in Wit's End.
Loading applesauce program.
No, don't!
Mr. Whitaker need never know.
Applesauce proceeding to level 2.
What?
Level 2?
What does that mean, level 2?
Don't miss this incredible adventure in Odyssey.
There's a lot going on with that music.
Yeah, it sounded like the music of like it sounded like in a spy movie when there's a bomb that's about to go off, like it's like ticking in the background, but like the melodic notes and stuff going back and forth and back and forth. And then at the end, was that Christmas music?
Maybe.
It sounded very much like the beginning to a Hallmark Christmas movie.
I was getting like Narnia vibes.
Okay, that works too. It snows there.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
It's Christmas in Narnia.
Yeah.
The first one.
But you're right, it is.
Yeah. I will say again, and I know we've talked about it, I like the promos that are heavier on the audio from the episode versus just narrator guy doing his weird thing. Yeah. Although those ones are maybe more fun to talk about, they're definitely worse.
The speaking rat. That was great. Yeah,
Previously.
With that out of the way.
Yep.
Oh yeah, let's get into it. So the episode begins with we get the sweet like extra buttered lay on the nostalgia thick Wit intro, and it just boom like takes you back. This is old Odyssey, and it's so good.
Yep.
We get the Wit intro, and then we get kind of Chris coming in and kind of setting the scene.
Yep. That's very much her thing in these early episodes.
Yeah, and then we get Connie and Eugene at Wit's End, and they're talking about Wit because Wit's kind of been AWOL. They haven't really seen him much. Has he been holed up in his office? Is that what's going on, or he's just been super secretive?
So they say that he's been working long hours. Connie's been going by late at night and seeing the lights still on. He's not really leaving his office, and a bunch of stuff's like being changed around Wit's End.
Yeah.
To which I wrote, "It's mad scientist time again."
Oh, it's mad scientist time again. Oh my gosh.
Which is funny because we're doing this in reverse.
Yes, yeah.
Because it's not really.
Yeah.
It's mad scientist time for the first time. But
this is the standard of which all mad scientist time will be judged.
Well, yeah, because I mean
So, and this is something that. Okay, does the Imagination Station exist at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, it does. Okay, I wasn't sure when it came in because they didn't talk about it.
All right. Give me a moment. Is it? Okay, the episode 66 is the Imagination Station Part 1.
Okay,
and we're on episode 73.
Okay,
so the imagination station exists.
Officially exists. And it was interesting because they obviously, like, to get ahead of ourselves a little bit, but they talk a lot about, like, the displays in Wits End, and they talk about the trains, and they talk about the Bible display, and that is very, very old Odyssey. Like,
Right.
Like, the trains were a huge thing.
Yeah. Well, and they even talk about that some too, but it's Connie Part 1,
Yeah.
which is weirdly the episode that Eugene first appears in.
Yeah.
But is Eugene kind of automating everything at Wits End, and he makes the train go like supersonic,
Yeah.
and doesn't let the kids control it, and it's this whole disaster.
Yeah, it's this whole thing. So anyway, so they're all worried about Wit, and then Eugene gets called up to Wit's office to talk with him, and Connie's like, well, I want to know what's going on. Like,
Right.
you know,
Classic curious Connie. Like, that's her thing.
Yeah.
Eugene's in college, around college
Yeah, he's in
age?
college.
And Connie's in high school still?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because Wit does later refer to both of them as adults.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
like, is Connie out of high school at
No,
this
there's
point?
no way she is. This is way too early on.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a... I think that she's like 16. I get the impression she's like
Yeah,
sophomore, maybe junior.
you might be right. I'm gonna poke around for a moment just to see if there's,
if there's anything we can find out.
reference to when she graduates. Notably though, this is what Connie is a Christian at this point. Eugene is not.
Mm-hmm.
Connie's a new Christian.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that was something that when I was listening to the episode, I was thinking back about, like, that'd be interesting for us to cover their Connie and Eugene's, like, journey to faith, like, Christianity arc. Because Eugene obviously has, like, the whole mortal coil bit and all that fun stuff. And Connie's very early on, but
Yeah.
I always forget that that's, like, a big part of the show is that they aren't Christians when they first come to Wits End, and then they become Christians.
Yeah, it is such a big show, and then it's not like during. I mean, we get. I guess we get Aubrey during like the Novacom era, but there's not
much after that.
It doesn't feel like it's as big of a thing like during my years of Odyssey.
Yeah,
like it's maybe a kid, like it's Aubrey, then eventually it's Grady, like some of that stuff, but it's not like, it doesn't seem like the show revolves around it as much.
Which is interesting. I don't know. You would think that, especially with how many new characters they introduced, that their journey to faith would be a bit more emphasized.
And maybe it is. Maybe it is now.
Yeah.
But
who knows? We gotta listen to New Odyssey, I suppose. Now that we have the OA Club, we can do it. I've been bad about it, though. Maybe over Christmas break.
yeah, I don't know.
Or not.
Well, see, the thing is, like, I think it's, I don't know. For me, personally, I don't really want to listen to stuff unless I'm covering it.
Yeah.
Just because I want my takes to be fresh.
The freshest
If I have
as
the
possible.
option.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously for these, not an option. But
Yeah.
there's enough time here, too, that they do feel a little bit fresh. But
That is true, especially for this episode.
if you guys know at what point Connie graduates, tweet at us. Send us an email. Record a voice thing on frickin' Anchor. Whatever.
Send it to us.
Just let us know.
Yeah.
Because,
We care to know.
yeah. And I
We could have a candid conversation about it.
You guys are better than Google.
Exactly. It's true. You have a vast wealth of knowledge.
Yeah. We're just gonna crowdsource all of our questions.
I discovered that people write AIO fan fiction.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I never made that connection, but I found out last night that that's a thing.
Maybe we'll do a bonus episode and talk about an AIO fanfic.
Oh, Patreon
Patreon
exclusive. If we reach our goal.
And for people who are just jumping in for Blaggart, we don't have a Patreon.
No, we don't have
And
a
we have
Patreon.
no plans of starting one.
Well,
Anyways, so
I need to open a secret Patreon.
just have a Patreon for yourself.
Exactly. Listen, I'm going to school. I don't have money. I can have my own Patreon. Perks include me texting you good morning.
That's horrible. All right.
My rent-a-boyfriend service where I just do all the cute things that a boyfriend does without any of the romantic attachment.
That's such a bad idea.
I'll show up for family functions.
I hate this.
I'm great at making conversation at Thanksgiving.
Parents love him.
It's true, they do.
You have to specify whether you want him with or without the nose ring, though.
Exactly, I will flip it up. I'm a make model kind of guy.
Short sleeves so you don't see the tattoos, or long sleeves?
So you do see the tattoos. Should I talk about the fact that I'm homeschooled or was homeschooled? I do go to Bible college now. That'll score a lot of points with the parents.
All right.
Find me on Twitter.
We are not selling out, Andrew. I will renting out.
Yeah.
All right. So, Whit takes Eugene up to his office and shows him a copy of C.S. Lewis's The Last Battle.
Yep.
Easily the worst Narnia book on
by
his
far.
shelf.
By far. But foreshadowing is important, I suppose.
Yeah. And so it's a book about the battle of good versus evil.
Yep.
And this is a series about the battle of good versus evil.
And also computers,
Right.
which are just always evil.
That's true. So yeah, Wade has a key in the last battle, which he reveals to Eugene. And that key opens a room behind a bookcase. And Eugene makes a comment that he's like, "Oh, I've always wondered why there was a keyhole with no door." And I was like, "Man, Whit, hide it better."
Yeah, seriously. You couldn't,
No one should ever think.
Secret door.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's the only answer.
Yeah, exactly.
You put a painting in front of it.
Easily.
Or, make it look like a hole in the wall rather than a keyhole. Just like anything to not draw attention to it.
Yeah, you've automated everything in Wit's End. I believe you can hang a painting over your secret keyhole.
Yeah. And also, your door is still key powered.
Yes.
Like, it opens very electronically.
Yes.
But you get into it with a key that you hid in a book.
Because this is the 80s.
Yeah. But also, there's going to be a lot of this stuff where we are drawing parallels to Novacom. Mm-hmm. I'm going to acknowledge this fact up top, so bear with me. We know that Novacom is actually referencing this.
Yes.
But we're doing them in this order, so that's how we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, sorry
That's
about that.
why I made the mad scientist time again joke.
Yeah.
And that's why now I'm going to be like, big saga and bookcases.
Yeah.
We couldn't make the jokes during Novacom, so we're making them now.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
They go in, everything is automated.
Yep.
There's a giant computer. The audio engineering for this is so good.
It is really good.
It sounds very mad scientist lab-y, like there's blips and bloops everywhere,
Yep.
like computer noises.
Yeah.
And then he talks to the computer.
Named Mabel.
Yep.
He has an AI in the ATs.
What does that mean? What's AT?
It's
AI?
the 80s.
Oh.
I was saying it stupidly.
Oh.
It has an AI in the 80s. is
Okay.
what
I heard
should have said.
ATs and I was like, AT,
In the
AT?
80s. He's
Star
got an
Wars?
AI in the 80s.
And the ATs.
No, it's the 80s.
Yeah.
And Wit has AI.
Exactly.
With voice recognition.
Yep.
That isn't great, which I do really like.
Yeah, but it's also very good for the 80s.
And like we've talked about before, it's mostly just because this is an audio show.
Oh yeah. This is definitely just for expositional purposes.
Uh,
But the voice is really good. The voice, like Mabel's voice, is really good.
yeah. Yeah. No.
Basically has
Well done, Joan Gerber.
Yeah.
I like the sound of Mabel.
Yeah.
Much better than Hallie.
Yeah, that was just horrifying. That was haunting. I still think about that episode sometimes.
Yes. Oh, I mean, it's great.
It's so good.
So so Wit reveals that everything in the shop has been computerized so that he can monitor things, turn them on and off, basically track how much certain things are being used, and that sort of thing, which is smart, but also seems anti-Wit in some weird way.
Yeah, and I get monitoring is I see that could be useful, but it's not like Wit's End is huge. Right. He could just be like, oh, the kids are talking a lot about the Bible display.
Right. Well, it feels like something that the horribly named Novacom Kids Center
would
would
do.
have done,
Yeah.
and Wit would have been like, "Come on, guys!
Yeah.
Like, actually interact with the kids to find out what they like. You can't get that information from a machine."
Well, unless it is entirely automated, and all it is just it's tracking statistics.
Right.
It's not like him sitting in a room watching kids play with the stuff.
No, it's not. But he's using the statistics to decide what's worth having in Wit's End.
Yeah.
Which seems like something that he should just do as a human being.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Moving past it. Onwards
he then
and upwards.
goes on to say that that Eugene, he's showing this to Eugene so that Eugene if something would happen to Wit, Eugene would know how to do this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He trusts Eugene to understand what's going on here in a way that no one else could.
Yeah.
Because, Tom and Connie aren't really going to be able to figure out the computer situation.
Well, the important thing that's worth noting is that Eugene, what you mentioned earlier, was that Eugene computerized everything when he first got to Wit's End.
Correct.
And then Wit was like, nah, that's not cool. And then he undid it. And then he did it again for this purpose.
Right.
So Eugene already knows how to work it.
Yeah, and Eugene's just smart computer guy.
Yeah.
So he's showing all this to Eugene, and he's showing him the different programs for the train and all that stuff. And there's a program called Applesauce, and Wit says you can use every other program except for this one.
Wow, I just got the Garden of
Okay,
yeah,
right.
Garden of Eden.
I never made the
picked that-
connection until I was listening through it this time, and I was like,
Oh my gosh.
holy crap. You can use everything but this one. This one is called Applesauce.
Applesauce, yeah.
And spoiler alert, the episode ends with Connie and Eugene getting banished from the garden
Yes.
because the woman was curious
Yes.
and did the thing,
Yes.
and they both get kicked out.
Yep. And it's called A Bite of Applesauce.
Correct. This
Yeah.
episode is a direct
Parallel.
Genesis chapter 3 allegory.
Wow. And there's no biblical thing at the end.
There might be, it doesn't have a proper Chris outro on
Yeah.
the version that we're listening to.
Yeah.
So
But there's no this is the Bible. Da,
No.
da, da.
no, but yeah, holy crap. Which also, I want to point out, makes Wit God.
We already knew that.
Right, I know, but the show is directly making that call.
Yes, it is.
I want to bring something up that we're going to run into. There is Adventures in Odyssey has published a book series called The Blackguard Chronicles that is book adaptations of this saga, but they're kind of extended edition, or they don't necessarily match what is in the episode.
They take some liberties.
They take some liberties and they add in different stuff. And so we're not maybe at the end of this series,
Yeah.
I'll have read the books and can make some interesting comments or something.
Yeah.
But as we're going through episode by episode, we're not going to be talking about stuff that is expanded upon in those
Are those
books.
available online? Are those available on the OA Club?
I don't think they have any of the books available.
Okay.
But reach out if that's not the case. I have not been able to find them because we talked a while ago about doing the Kidsborough books.
Yeah. Yeah.
After we did Kidsborough, which hey, maybe we'll do someday. But
Yeah.
those aren't I couldn't find those on there or anything. So there are books that have been released in recent years that kind of expand upon these things. But that's not what we're talking
Not canon
about here.
and at least in this podcast.
Right.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
And so then it's Eugene and Connie alone at Wit's End. Wit's not there, right?
Yep.
And there's problems with the trains. The trains won't shut off or whatever. And so Eugene has to go up and go into the control room to turn them off. But Connie doesn't know about the control room, so he keeps saying stay down here, stay here, stay here. And then Connie's like, well, I want to go. Why does Eugene get to know all this stuff? Like, I want to go. And then she follows him up into the room, and Eugene kind of is like upset. He's like, oh, you can't be in here. And she's like, oh no, you won't get in trouble. Like, I just walked in here on my own. Like, you can't stop me from doing that. Yep. And then she pulls the whole card, which I got like viscerally angry when I heard it, which is like, I'm not going to leave until you show me what this stuff does, so you might as well do it. I'm like, oh my gosh, you are the worst.
Yeah.
You are the worst.
Yeah, it's bad. Also,
not a good Connie episode.
No, it's not. Oh, so Eugene probably should have locked the door.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Or
you definitely should have locked the door.
Like, Whit made such a big deal about how secret this thing is.
Yeah.
So for Eugene to just be like, I'm gonna go upstairs and fix this.
Yeah. And then Connie's like, well, why are you going towards Whit's office or something? Like,
right.
Instead of the trains. Yeah.
Also, I feel like she talks about the fact that she can't unplug the trains because the cord just goes right into the wall.
Yeah.
I feel like that's an Odyssey staple.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's no way to unplug it. The cord just disappears into the drywall.
That happens again and again. And it's just so funny to see it here.
Yeah. Which, because presumably all these cords run directly into Mabel.
Right.
Which is, I feel like there's,
Yeah. But, like, just the idea, that because we get it with some stuff in Novacom, too, with the Nova boxes, where it's just like, there's no way to turn it off.
Yeah.
It's like, why is that always the thing?
That's the thing, is that, the pan ultimatum is that we can't turn off the technology. Yeah. But I feel like that's pretty, like, classic, sci-fi dystopia.
No, it is. It's just funny that
it's
it keeps coming up.
Yeah. And then, so she follows him up, they show him everything, and then Connie is like, well, what's applesauce? And Eugene's like, I'm not permitted to talk about it. And Connie's like, well, I want to know what it is. And she's like, he's like, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
And, like, and then she says, like, Whit told him, and, like, he can't.
Yeah. Why doesn't Eugene just say, I don't know?
Yeah.
Whit said not to touch it?
Yeah. I think it's a pride thing. I do
too.
I think it's a pride thing where he's like, well, I know what it is and she doesn't. Because I wondered that when I was listening to it, why he didn't just say that I actually just don't know what it is, but I'm not allowed to know.
But you're right. I can relate to Eugene on that. I probably would also take that path.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then
the computer doesn't understand Eugene when he tells him to turn off the train protocol. Yep. It's so good. It's like, terminate the train program. And they're like, what? Mabel's like, wait, what? I don't understand.
Eugene uses words that are too big.
Yeah, for the computer.
Yeah.
Which is, I just love that bit in this show where it's like the AI doesn't understand what the commands are. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't have a command for what?
Yep, I wrote down that same thing, and I just love that trope.
It's so good. It's so funny.
It's also in the scene where Eugene just, as an insult to Connie, just goes, child.
Yeah, child.
It's like, whoa.
Child. Wow. He is so condescending.
That's rough.
He is a jerk to Connie. The funny thing is that that bit of, like, AI not getting what we're saying totally still exists.
Yes.
Like, I do voice dictation and stuff if I'm, like, texting and driving, which don't do that. But,
yeah.
If I have to do, like voice dictation for something, and if I'm listening to the radio, it just picks that up too.
Right.
So anyway, they end up leaving, and then it cuts to, like, the next day, and Connie's opening alone. And Wits End seems like it's pretty packed, and the trains aren't working again. And then Connie runs up and is like, I know what to do. And then she runs up to the computer. She tells Donna to watch the counter, which is important because then Donna ends up joining her in the computer room, and there's this whole big thing.
Yep. Donna Barkley of The Dress.
Yeah, of The Dress fame.
That dress.
That dress. A slip, perhaps? That dress. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. So
what an episode.
Yeah. So Connie's up there. She's able to retrace Eugene's steps because I guess he just let her stand there while he shut everything.
Yep.
So she finds the thing
key,
in the last battle and puts it in there and goes in and turns on the computer and launches the program and gets it up and running. And then Mabel's like, "Hey, you want to launch any other programs?"
Yeah, and then Connie looks at Applesauce and she's like, "Oh."
And then Donna walks.
Yeah, and then Donna walks in. And then Mabel starts launching Applesauce, and Donna's freaking out, and then Connie's freaking out.
Yeah, because Connie says something along the lines of like, "Well, like, no, don't launch Applesauce," and it's like, launching Applesauce.
Yeah, and then she's like, "No, don't do it. Don't do it."
And it's freaking out, and Donna's there like, "What's going on?" And also, why didn't Connie lock the door? Like, everyone's so
what
bad.
this whole episode could have been avoided if people just locked the door behind them,
or closed it, or like, why did Donna follow?
Or if Whit just made a more secret door.
Yeah, I forgot to mention one of my favorite things, which was so Donna comes up to Connie to say the train's not. Thing. But she says, "The kids elected me to be the one and come and tell you." And I'm just picturing like a dozen kids standing around a train that's not working and just being like, "Someone's got to tell Connie. Let's take a vote."
Yeah. They all sit down. They have little slips of paper. All of them say Donna. Oh boy.
So Applesauce is Connie accidentally launches it and things go crazy.
Yeah. All the machines go nuts.
Yeah. It asks her to press any key to continue, and she does because she's freaking out and doesn't know how to, like, she can't get out of it.
Well, so it's important noting that Connie's curiosity with Applesauce is because she thinks it's about her. She thinks that it's about her. She thinks it's about her
into thinking like it's personnel files.
Yeah, it's like a personnel file. Like there's something that she was doing wrong that she wants to know, and then but then she's like, "Oh, well, if I was doing something wrong, Whit would tell me." And then she's like, "Well, maybe I'm doing so bad that Whit doesn't have the heart to tell me." And then she ends up launching Applesauce, and then all this stuff happens. Yeah, but Connie's just the worst.
Yeah.
But granted, she's like 16.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Eugene should have locked the door behind him. Eugene is the problem this episode.
So everything's going crazy, and she presses, a key to continue it, and it gets even crazier, and it's launching into phase 2 and asking for a password, and Eugene shows up.
Yeah.
And they're like, and he's unable to fix anything, and they're like, oh, because it stops after phase 1.
Yeah.
And that's when Eugene's there.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we're just going to pretend that none of this happened. Yeah. And then phase 2 launches.
And then it needs a password, and then it ticks down.
And they're just like throwing around passwords. Eugene throws out like applesauce at one point, which I was like, really?
Yeah.
The password's clearly Wad Fam Choc.
Yeah, exactly.
But
isn't it butter and eggs or something like that? Or isn't the password
butter and eggs is
milk and eggs is
the password to get into Alex's mom's computer in Novacom.
Yeah, but I think that there's a password like that for applesauce. Like I think it's something like I think it's something like milk and eggs or something like that.
Well,
we'll find out.
So yeah, and
we need a soundboard just for that button. That and just when we can say call back. Call back.
And so yeah, they can't come up with the password. Eugene at one point throws out like, "What's Whit's wife's name?"
Yeah,
and I'm like, man, they should probably know that.
Yeah, and Whit's not married, right?
Well, Jenny.
Yeah,
I mean, it's his dead wife.
Yeah, Jenny. Yeah.
I don't think he said what's Whit's dead. I think he might say what was Whit's wife's name.
Yeah.
So yeah, they what? Oh, so then everything shuts down.
Yep. And then we get, is it Eugene or Connie at the
Eugene.
same being like, I think we killed Whit's End.
Yep. Iconic line.
Yeah.
A lot of the lines throughout this series are stuff that we heard in the Downloading Eugene's Memories episodes.
Yep. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is great. Oh,
yeah.
So good.
So, yeah.
And then Whit shows up,
yep.
right?
Yeah. He and Tom had gone you get the impression that they cleared everyone out of Wits End, like it's later in the day.
Yeah.
But he comes in and everything's shut down.
Well,
like,
doesn't Connie yell something like, pretend it's a fire drill, like get everybody out?
Maybe.
I think she says that.
All the lights are off and everything. Like it's...
Yeah. Clearly they shut down.
You get the idea that it's all... Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so,
then God shows up.
Right. So he comes in and says that he and Tom went fishing, what happened, and slowly is able to piece together that, like this is the applesauce, like failsafe.
Yeah.
Where it just like shuts everything down. Yeah. He says the quote, applesauce has a purpose that goes far beyond Wits End.
Yeah.
Which is
ominous.
And crazy.
And foreshadowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Wit is God. And also a secret agent, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then it's at this point that he banishes them from the...
Yeah. The episode ends with them getting fired.
Right. It just goes out on Connie, Eugene, you're fired.
Yeah. Effective immediately.
Yep.
If you don't mind, I have to clean some stuff up.
Yeah.
And I will say, Wit's voice acting, like Hal Smith's voice acting for this scene is so heartbreaking. Like, you can really hear him talk about like I trusted you and you broke this trust.
Right.
Like, Eugene, I trusted you to steward this well, and Connie, like I trusted you to, be more mature than your curiosity, or to curb your curiosity and not do something that you knew I didn't want you to do. Yeah. And you get the whole like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed vibe. And he's so clearly like broken up about it. And
and
Eugene
and they're both like Eugene and
what?
Connie are both immediately like, we will take whatever comes at us. Like they're so they're so apologetic and like they know they screwed up.
Yeah.
And then Wit fires them.
And that's where the episode ends.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Great episode.
Oh my gosh, so good.
I love that like this episode.
It's short.
It's 19-minute episode.
Yeah.
It is laying the groundwork for stuff to come, but also is a really good episode.
Yep.
Which I think some of the early Novacom stuff really struggles in that, where it's like, it's a fine episode that we have to get through because it's light, because it's setting stuff up. Whereas this one's like a genuinely fantastic episode that also is setting stuff up.
Yeah, it's got good, like, it's funny, it's got good characters, it's well in the universe, it's character development, it has a good biblical analogy.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's great to listen to this episode again. It's been years.
Yeah. I'm
so excited
looking forward
to covering the Blackbird
series.
stuff.
Yeah.
Any more final thoughts?
Time.
Is there anything from the guide or anything?
The guide just brings up the fact that it's a Genesis chapter 3 thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, this is the first episode of the Blackbird saga. This is setting up a ton of other stuff from what is to come. I mean, obviously it's like a 30 episode arc that we're talking about. And we'll be going through it episode by episode. So if you know anybody that likes the Blackbird saga, tell your friends. Get a free trial of the OA Club, rent them out from your church library. I don't know which episodes they're covering on the radio right now, but if they are...
Yeah, you can also buy episodes on iTunes.
Yeah. Join us on this fun journey.
Yeah. And if you like it, leave us a review.
Yeah. We miss them.
Yeah. Go drop us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. We like to hear from you guys.
Good or bad. We love it when you guys reach out to us. Genuinely, it makes me so happy.
Yeah. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all the stuff. Send us emails.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just have I don't know, interact with us and with other shows that you love. Like
It's a lot of fun. We love making this show, and it's really fun. We're excited to get into this big arc. So
yeah,
hopefully you guys will stick around and come around with us for this.
Yeah.
So
all right,
and we'll be back. Oh, do you have anything to plug this week?
No.
I mean, you can cut this if you want. But I mean, we've talked about the fact that I was in nursing school. I'm actually no longer in nursing school anymore. I'm transferring to a different college now, and I'm actually studying to be a clinical mental health counselor, which is like a therapist. So there you go. Some big change going on in my life. But if you care at all about that and you want to follow me on the Instagram or on the Twitters or whatever, yeah, there you go. No longer Nurse Andrew. Time to tell me how that makes you feel, Andrew. So
yeah, big steps,
big changes.
All right,
and we'll be back next week with what, Dylan?
We will be back with Eugene's Dilemma, episode 67.
Sure.
Sorry. No, it's not episode 67. Sorry. And we will be back next week with episode 76, Eugene's Dilemma.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Wadfam Chalk Pod is a presentation of the Lidditz Podcast Co-op. This show is a fan podcast and has no official affiliation with Adventures in Odyssey or Focus on the Family. As such, the copyright is ours under Creative Commons. Follow the podcast at WadFamChalkPod on Twitter and Instagram, or email us at wadfamchalkpod@gmail.com. A Bite of Applesauce was hosted by Dylan Weaver and Andrew Acebo and edited by Dylan Weaver. And I'm Nathan Haverstick, hoping you'll join us again next time for more of the Wadfam Chalk Pod.